Hello, welcome to episode 3 of Pinkun Classics. We're actually watching a game that I can remember this week, so that's the start at least. I'm Connor Southwell, joined by Paddy Davitt, Ian Clark, and Tony Frossell, and we're going to be watching Norwich against Scunthorpe, that game in the Championship season under a certain Paul Lambert. Of course, if you want to watch along with us, so you can almost sync up the two screens, there'll be a link down somewhere, probably in the description, that you can watch along as well, and you can relive this game with us. I'm looking at the opening screen, and we'll start with Pat, because I don't think you were the only one who wasn't at this game, were you?
Yeah, well, Tony, didn't you say you didn't go to this one? You jumped on. What was your phrase?
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry.
This was no. Let me say the phrase. Jumped on the bandwagon. You said.
Jumped back on the bandwagon.
Sorry,
I'm one of those horrible fans that managed to get a ticket to the final home game just to see them celebrate. So I was keeping a keen eye on this score for sure.
Yeah, no. To answer your question, Connor, I think I probably would have been back in the day at the Linnets. Yeah, I don't think the previous Linnets had folded. No, they hadn't by that stage. So I was probably keeping it real at Banbury or Rushall Olympic or somewhere like that, Bromsgrove.
Michael Nelson, captain of Scunthorpe here, now managing in those divisions. So
indeed, But no, I was the one for me. Obviously, we'll get into it in more depth. But this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 games. This was the 9th from last game of that championship season, which, as TT rightly said, culminated against Coventry. But the game before was when they clinched it at Portsmouth. But of those, I think I remember is the epic. We'll probably have to do this on the classics at some point. The Derby game, which was another 4 weeks on from this one we're about to watch, which was on, has always been savoured as one of Carrow Road's loudest ever roars, wasn't it? Clarkie'd be better qualified than me.
Even the top of the river end was loud.
Was it? Yeah. You
A few people woke up.
You hadn't gone by that point in Clarkie, no?
Do you know what? I never go, but plenty around me do. When the 84th minute, it's almost like an alarm goes off. 84 minutes, right? Come on, let's get home. Let's beat the traffic.
Beat the traffic. That phrase.
Beat the traffic. Get the curtains drawn. When it's early April, it's not going to get dark till 8. Well, you never know. You might get stuck. Love them.
You need to get back for Canary Call, isn't it? You need to get back in the car and get the radio.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that attitude when I used to sit in the river end as well. I think you were in the top. I was in the bottom actually for this game. This was the 2nd of April 2011. So,
yeah.
I hope that seems longer ago than it was.
Yes, sir.
I've got the screen up here. There's the first shot before we press play. A few things to notice. Michael Nelson leading out the Scunthorpe team, and equally in the background, I think that's a fresh-faced Chris Gorham and Neil Adams in the commentary box there. The old commentary box.
Above where they used to be, above the tunnel.
That's it. Yeah, I think that they've moved now, haven't they? They get a much more luxurious position where they can actually move. That looks quite crammed there, even with 2 of them.
And not quite so many ball boys and girls, just to Holty's to the left of Holty there. I think there's now about 75 ball boys and girls on there, but not quite so many then.
No match packages back then, I don't think.
No.
But incidentally, just before we start, I've just had a count, and in this run of games, they lost 3 games out of 31. That's pretty incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, I'd spotted that as well, actually. So there was one in December, wasn't there, against Pompey away, Burnley 2-1 and Swansea 3-0. Yeah, so between mid of December and the end of this season, that's an incredible run.
It certainly is. Right, should we press play?
Let's go.
I'll count us in. 3, 2, 1, and play. And we're off with the teams coming out of the tunnel.
Bit of Dan O'Hagan on the comms.
Yeah, it certainly is.
Good lad, Dan O'Hagan. Yeah, knows his stuff. I just wanted to point out, we had that you obviously drove our Social World Cup kits a week or 2 back. I quite like this kit now, looking at it. I don't know, it's something about the shade and the sort of simplistic design of the shirt.
Good fashion coverage there, Paddy.
It's a bit too luminous for me.
What season's the one Clarkie's wearing right now?
Is that the one you've got, Clarkie?
No, it's the playoff final one, that one, isn't it?
I don't think it is it?
It's just the white collar one.
I've completely talked over. We've gone straight past the team news there, but I think we all kind of know what it was a fairly settled 11, wasn't it, back then?
What about the manager, Alan Neil? You said
Alan Neil, yes, right. Well, he's obviously the current Sheffield United assistant manager, but during his Scunthorpe tenure, I think the most noticeable thing he did was have a bicycle accident which involved him hitting a squirrel and breaking his collarbone. I think he did in the end. So there you go. He's not a fan of wildlife, Alan Neil.
But he is fan of Wilder.
Very good, very good.
Here we go. Here we go. Lovely move. Oh, the river end's gone mad.
Just Pacheco's debut.
Yeah.
I think it was his first start, wasn't it? Was this?
Oh, yeah.
Was,
just on
was
loan
this,
from Liverpool, wasn't he?
Has there ever been a guy? I've just checked because we've had him recently as well. His connection to the club, and you think this must be a lad who played about 300 games. He made 3 starts and 3 sub appearances in this season, and that was it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he wasn't about in the Premier League era.
No.
And yet somehow in the consciousness, it seems to me, of a lot of Norwich fans, he's a bit of a ledge.
Oh, hero, yeah.
He was good in this game.
Hero.
So was he brought in as cover for an injury, or did they just bring him in to bolster the squad?
They brought him in at the same time they brought in Sam Vokes on loan. They brought them in together. I think it was just to give them a little bit of a boost because at this time, before this game, Jackson was out of form. He wasn't really scoring. They were quite reliant on Grant Holt. And
because Vokes was actually quite useful as well, wasn't he?
Yeah, I don't think he played too much either, though, really, because they signed them both. And then obviously this is the game that Jackson got into form again. So
yeah, on as a sub as well. That's pretty, we'll see that later. Anyway.
And Pacheco and Jackson, 2 of only 4 non-British players in the whole 32-man squad that season.
Wow.
As little as that. That's impressive.
Yeah. Jens Bertalascu and Zach Whitbread, plus Jackson and Pacheco. All the others were either English, Scottish, Welsh, or Irish.
Before the German Revolution.
Nice football. We keep talking, don't we, about the current great football. And
sorry, just in today's law, would that have been a red card?
That is a red card.
Yeah,
but today, would they still have sent him off because of the whole double?
I think that's just goalkeepers, isn't it? Double jeopardy.
Oh, is it?
I think it's just goalkeepers because they view it as, well, you're giving away a penalty, so send you off would be harsh. But I have to
say, boys, most of my football I played as a defender, not as a goalkeeper. I think that's a pretty harsh red, to be honest.
Yeah, harsh. Well, I don't know, Clarky, but I mean,
it's pretty badly timed.
Stupidity at the highest order.
Yeah, stupid. But
this is Grant Holt sort of in his prime, isn't it?
Yeah, but look at the keeper. The keeper has made. I know nowadays it's almost a stutter and run up, and you wait for the keeper. But you didn't even have to wait for this keeper.
No,
I mean,
he's gone.
He's on his way. Look, he's not even approached the ball. He's on his way.
Well, on a day when we're celebrating the birthday of a certain Tim Krul, probably the best penalty saver in the world. I mean, that is rank poor goalkeeping, isn't it?
They've hooked Nunes, I see, at half time.
Yeah, they kept saying in the commentary he covered like 1,600 miles in a week or something.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah, I mean, you made the point about a nice football there, Clarky, earlier. It did strike me watching this that Wes obviously was, and is the man himself just outside the post. But that midfield there, on that occasion, you had Sermon, you had Fox, Wes, very, very good technical players. I think they're a little bit underrated in terms of it was about roll your sleeves up, high intensity type of Lambert football. But they did actually have lads who could put a foot on it and play in midfield.
Yeah, I think the thing with this team is that they could do that side of the game, and that's often what they're remembered for. But they did play a lot of really good football.
Yeah, look at this.
And I think on this occasion, I mean, before we start, we were talking about Scunthorpe, and I mean, really, they just gave Norwich so much space. Again, there, no one's picking Holty up. We could pass the ball around for fun there. I mean, it was incredible.
That's a brilliant header, though.
A good knock from Crofts. Again, Crofts not a player you would necessarily associate with that sort of technique. But watch this for a ball here. Half volley.
Bang.
Yeah. That's a superb header.
Was that Nelson's man? Should we? But
nowhere near him, was he?
Back to Lambert. We put out a thing on social media just asking for people's favourite goalie, manager, etc. And Lambert was still up there as people's favourite manager.
Yeah.
Well, even after the shenanigans against Ipswich last season.
Yeah. I mean, you just got to look back at the 3 years he gave, the memories.
Oh, yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, it's a shame for me. I find it all quite sad,
Yeah.
the pantomime villain kind of thing last season, but it is sad that his legacy is a bit tainted, and he's not helped himself there with the short memories type of stuff. He's obviously got, despite to most people's minds, it was him who left to go to Villa. That he seems to have this narrative that he was pushed out or whatever.
Was that who made that mistake? Was that?
Trying to look, I don't. The picture's quite clear, and I hope you'll see on the replay.
It wasn't Mickey Nelson, but
it definitely wasn't.
No.
It looks young.
But I mean, quick
Great
sound
pressure,
here.
though.
Did we say Scunthorpe got relegated this season? Did they?
I'm pretty sure they did. They
You can
certainly
see
should have
why.
done.
You can see why.
Well, that's setting back running. You said Connor had gone for a bit of a drought. I mean, look at that, 75 minutes on the clock. He gets his first one.
I think it was, I think they say in commentary it's 21 goals or games without a goal, and then two came along in 2 minutes.
That was a great little finish, that.
Right, near post run, like Holtby's first goal there. Just that instinct in the box. Make the run on the near post gamble.
Lansbury with the run, Connor's favourite cult hero.
Good player.
The movement there was pretty. I do remember he was a player that a lot of fans did want to sign permanently, wasn't he, Lansbury?
Yeah, he was very highly rated at Arsenal at the time, though, wasn't he?
Well, I guess it was that confidence, wasn't it, of, keep the ball moving quickly. Everyone was given the freedom to push forward. There wasn't too much playing it around and playing it back. It was, go forward, look for a pass. Another good long pass there. Spread it out. They used the whole width of the pitch really well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 7's Fox, is it? Or Crofts?
Crofts, mate.
Crofts, yeah.
That keeper, boys, is having an absolute stinker.
The thing is about Jackson, I remember this game because when he came on, there was a few fans near me who used to sit near me who sort of rolled their eyes a little bit. He was kind of a bit like that. It was a bit frustrating. And then after that, I mean, everyone knows what happened after this. He went on a mad run, didn't he? And pretty much all the goals he got Norwich up.
There you go. You don't see that these days, do you?
There's a house in the background as well.
There's a fresh-faced Grant Holt.
Yeah.
There we go.
I mean, that was really the stuff I said at the start. That was 9 games out, and from then they never looked back. I mean, neither did Jackson. 9 goals in 7 games. In fact, beat Swan. Actually, to be fair, the game was the Swansea to beat Clarkie. You're right.
Yeah.
Wasn't that the Barini free kick? I seem to remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was at that game actually. Drew with Watford. Then they won Forest, won Ipswich memorably, Portman Road, won Derby even more memorably, and then even more memorably won at Fratton Park, stooping header. Jacko, Premier League, here we come. So this really, did this feel like, you boys were there, did this feel like maybe the emphatic nature of this? Because obviously they were chasing down QPR, but they had clubs breathing down their neck, didn't they?
Yeah.
Did this feel like, right, here we go, we're going downhill now and it's going to happen?
Yeah. I think the momentum was building up, and I think Jackson was a great example of that. Had that Barron run, he comes in and bags a hat-trick, and then he kept scoring. Obviously, we know what happened in the Derby game, and obviously at Portsmouth as well. And Holty, 21 league goals he got that season, and just so full of confidence. Wes was looking at his best.
I think everyone was riding the wave at that time, weren't they? So it was difficult, certainly for me, to sort of put it into perspective or any sort of context. It was just enjoying it because it was no one had expected Norwich to get to that point. They'd obviously just come up from League One. I remember quite vividly that summer, sort of the expectation being to consolidate in the Championship. So I think everyone was just riding this wave of positivity, and I felt you could feel that in Carrow Road at times. And I mean, as you said earlier, that team is often remembered for sort of being a bit rough around the edges and a bit tough, but they did play some really good football. I think that game is actually a perfect example of how good they were when they did get going, and they were very, very enjoyable to watch. They were a very watchable, very entertaining side.
Yeah. And interesting about the Carrow Road that day. I think I read that it was 26,512 was the crowd, which was only 20 less than the biggest crowd of the season against Ipswich. So I guess I seem to remember Scunthorpe didn't bring hardly any. So I suppose the South Stand would have been moved down for Norwich fans, but that's not far off a full house there for a game against a team that was going down.
Yeah, I think that just goes to show that time, doesn't it, and how positive everyone was feeling.
Yeah,
I think that's just about it, guys.
Well, just one little fact on penalty. We had 9 penalties that season. Holty, we saw scoring on that when he scored all 3 that he took. Wes took 6. Scored 4 and missed 2.
Yeah,
that wasn't the famous Dink one, was it?
Yeah,
one of them was.
I remember that one against Preston. That was, I think the game was 0-0 at the time, wasn't it? Or
Yeah.
Norwich certainly weren't winning it, and that would have put them back in the lead. But he decided to chip it. I remember Paul Lambert not being very happy at the time. And
Yeah, I was just going to say, I don't think we saw a shot of him smiling. I don't think he'd have been smiling at us. Got him back in the changing room.
You can imagine the moans in the river end. Then just put your foot through and stop mucking around.
Well, he did that, didn't he? Because when he used to play for Blackpool, there was I think it was a playoff semi-final against Preston. And in the last minute, he chipped a penalty straight down the middle. So I think he was trying to recreate that, but obviously
when it comes off, it's beautiful. When it doesn't, it's awful.
Yeah. One of those. Guys, thank you very much. I think that's just about the game covered. Let us know your memories from this fixture, Norwich against Scunthorpe, and also any others you'd like us to watch from any Norwich City era, providing we can find the highlights on YouTube. Get them in the description and or the comments, and we'll do that at some point as well. We'll add them to the list that we're gathering. Guys, thank you very much for joining me. Thank you very much.
Going up, going up, going up,
Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again in the next one.